Welcome back to the Stretch the Floor podcast. I'm Matt, and I'm joined as always by Venush, and we are here to talk about a couple more games of playoff basketball. Obviously, there was a little bit of a break, but we're right back into the action, and I think we're coming off probably what was the best game of the playoffs so far, at least the best performance. I don't know, one of the most exciting games of the playoffs so
Yeah,
far, in the most exciting series. Jamal Murray, 50 points, 71% shooting.
yeah,
He's just right now. He's just carrying this Nuggets team. He carried them all the way to a game seven, and our biggest question about the Nuggets coming in was, is he going to be good enough to be and consistent enough to be a number two to Jokic
yeah.
if they want to have a chance at winning their first or second round series? And he's been their best player without question.
Mhm. By far, yeah. So the thing about Jamal Murray and Donovan Mitchell is they basically elevated themselves into like a high tier all-star.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I don't
Yeah,
think Jamal Murray was even in all-star discussions before
not
this
for me.
series.
No.
Like no one would consider him like an all-star level player.
Yeah, and we're
Donovan
Canadians, and
Mitchell,
we
yeah,
wouldn't. So
Donovan Mitchell was an all-star player, but he
yeah,
wasn't like someone where like, yeah, he's gonna be an all-star for like 8 straight years because we talked about like Curry, Clay coming back and like his spot maybe go away.
mm-hmm.
These guys, the way they play this series, the only thing that you could compare it to is as us Canadians, we're obviously going to talk about that Vince Carter, Allen Iverson
Mm-hmm.
series. But like, this is a crazy series. Like, two players, they both had 50-point games in the
Mm-hmm.
series. They both had two 50-point games. That's never been done. The only players who had two 50-point games in a series was Michael Jordan and Allen Iverson. In the same series, both Jamal Murray and Donovan Mitchell do it, which is crazy.
Insane
Jamal Murray probably has the best 3 game stretch
of the
of
playoffs.
any Canadian. I think this passes any Steve Nash 3 game stretch.
Yeah, you're
He
probably right about that.
he's elevating himself
Mm-hmm.
as this is close to MVP level that he could ever get to
Yeah.
potentially. Like he's becoming a well-known name. He's probably the most talked about name besides obviously like LeBron. And we'll talk about him later. But like other than
Yeah.
LeBron, like Jamal Murray is the most talked about player in the
Yeah.
NBA.
I mean, and it always seems like every playoffs there's moments like this where one
Hmm.
game, even one quarter, one fourth quarter, he'll just go off and just will the team to victory. But there were too many games where he would just disappear, too many quarters where he would disappear. And that did happen a little early on in the series. This feels like the
Yeah,
series has been going on for like a year. But
yeah,
um the last few games he has stepped up and he's been consistent, and not just consistent, he's been like you said 40, 50 every game,
yeah.
ridiculous shooting numbers, and he's by far their best player right now, like we said, and he's I don't know, I'm leading Nuggets in game 7 just because of how ridiculous he's playing right now. Maybe he's going to come crashing down to earth, but
The thing is with with the Jazz, if you said like people believed before the series at least that they had good guard defenders. They had Mike
that's a good point.
Conley, Royce O'Neal, Joe Ingles is not really a guard defender, but he
Mhm.
could like do
Yeah.
shifts on him.
Yeah.
Donovan Mitchell was considered a above average defender. But like just in this one series, kind of everyone's opinions changed, and everyone's like, "Oh, they're all below average defenders. They're all subpar." But I don't know, man. Is that really like Jamal Murray's doing that? Like he's performing so well that these defenders who were consistently called above average defenders are like now kind of getting bashed on, like Mike Conley? Or is Mike Conley and this Jazz defense really just trying to slow down Jokic and letting Jamal Murray go ahead?
Mhm.
Because if it was 1 game or 2 games, I would
Yeah.
kind of support that narrative where they're like, as long as Jokic doesn't beat us,
Mhm.
anyone else beats us, we're okay with that.
Yeah.
This is 3 games back to back now.
Yeah. No, I don't think so, man,
I don't
cuz
believe anymore. Yeah,
like you can just tell when you're watching Murray, there's just stretches where he just knows he's not going to miss, and he can just get any shot he wants. He plays like when he's playing like this, he kind of looks like Lillard to me. Like he reminds me of Dame the way he plays like this, just pulling up from
yeah,
anywhere. A lot of long range threes and step backs and stuff like that. And yeah, but he's been able to keep it up for a majority of the series, and I really hope they win Game 7 because I want to see this going moving forward. I really do.
I still want the Jazz to win. I know because we had them getting swept by the
Yeah,
Nuggets,
yeah.
and I just like Donovan Mitchell has been so consistently well this whole series. I think he's averaging what 36, 37 this series.
Yeah.
He's insane. Uh, Rudy Gobert has been playing really well.
Yeah, he has.
He hasn't been playing to an all-star level in my opinion, and a defensive player of the year level, but he's definitely been a decent player. In my opinion, the third best Jazz player because Mike Conley shooting the ball is amazing.
Yeah, amazing right now.
He can't create
Exactly
his
what
own
they needed.
shot though,
No, no.
but he can shoot open shots,
Hmm.
which I like. This team is like what real NBA fans want, where it's like one star and then a
Hmm.
bunch of players that just fit around him really well.
Yeah.
With Mike Conley shooting the ball, Joe Ingles pretty awful to be honest, but passing and facilitating well and defending decently. Rudy Gobert running the rim and playing great defense. Royce O'Neal playing great defense. Like this is that team that people kind of like NBA fans wish every NBA team was like this.
Hmm.
So I want to see their run, and I kind of want to see him match up with Kawhi and Paul George because
Yeah.
if I want to see like Luka Doncic versus Donovan Mitchell because we've seen
Hmm.
Luka's stats and how well Luka performed.
Yeah.
I would like to see Donovan Mitchell perform and see if he can match up with Luka, maybe force a game six, or even if he could surpass Luka, maybe force a game seven, or even win the series, which will be complete shock for us. But
Oh, yeah, for sure.
it would
The
be
thing,
interesting to see.
yeah, definitely. The thing that surprised me is like Donovan Mitchell is so athletic and so
Yeah.
explosive. He's just a little small. And the reason, like, I thought that he relied too much on his three, like his 3-point shot in the
Hmm.
past. And
Yeah.
I was like, I want to see this guy get to the rim a little bit more and rely less on his 3-point shot. But if he's shooting like the way he is in this series, like he's a legitimate like sniper. Like he I don't know, like he's shooting like 9 for 13 from three some games. It's just ridiculous. I didn't expect that kind of thing from him. I knew he was like could hit the shot, but the fact that it's his go-to shot pretty much, and he's knocking them down is crazy to me.
Yeah. Before when the Rudy Gobert beef was happening and stuff,
Hmm.
a small fraction of fans always brought up like the Ben Simmons trade because they
Mm.
thought Donovan Mitchell would fit better with Embiid and Ben Simmons with Joe Ingles. Like he's just a good starting point if they have to get rid of Donovan Mitchell. And I see before really this bubble, a lot of people said that's so crazy because Donovan Mitchell is not even like close to the player Ben Simmons is.
Hmm.
And I think like during this bubble, like he just showed like he is that guy. He is a
He
preliminary all star
he is. Man, no one. I don't think anyone has raised their stock as much as Donovan Mitchell has in
or
the
Jamal
playoffs,
Murray.
at least. Jamal Murray,
Yeah,
yeah, like man, like we've talked about it before. Like we knew he was like a fringe bubble all star every year, but
yeah,
I don't like because the West is so deep. I don't know how it's going to look for him going forward, but he is
yeah,
definitely at that level right now. And the fact that he's doing it in the playoffs under these conditions in the bubble is just it only helps him. That's just
yeah. The great thing about this is because Devin Booker and him were always compared,
hmm.
and then before the like during the bubble pre-playoffs, I would say Devin Booker took such a huge step where he kind of left Donovan Mitchell in the dust,
Yeah, he did.
and then Donovan Mitchell took such a huge step in the playoffs where they're like back together
We're
again.
just forgetting about
Yeah,
yeah,
it's kind of funny how they're always like
yeah.
together, but they're crazy players, and we had this team getting swept or like maybe forcing a game
I had
five.
them getting swept 100%,
Yeah,
or
now they're up.
maybe five. But
Yeah,
yeah,
they had a
I
three
did
one
not expect this at
advantage.
all.
They had a 3-1 advantage in the series, and now it's going to a game
Hmm.
seven.
Yeah, like
Obviously, all the momentum is favoring the Denver Nuggets,
yes,
but those games were close that the Nuggets won. It's not like they were blowouts or anything.
no, yeah,
So
and
I guess
they
this could go either way, in my
they
opinion.
could have easily lost the overtime game in
Yeah,
game one. And like I knew the Nuggets defense was not good, but I didn't know it was this bad. Like it's
yeah,
like they can throw out some lineups out there that just cannot get a stop to save their lives. But they when they're scoring the way they can and the way that they have been in these games, especially at the end of the game, they're a tough out as a team for sure.
yeah, yeah.
So
These teams
yeah,
are
so go ahead.
toss up, but can you see them beating the Clippers? Either
No
one
way,
of them to go through?
no way, no way.
Do you think
I
they'll
think
perform better than the Mavs?
I don't know. I think
That's a
I
tough
don't know,
question,
man.
right?
It's a
Okay.
really tough question because man, you're kind of putting me on the spot there. I don't. I think the Nuggets would. Honestly, I think that the uh, the Jazz might do a better job against the Clippers. I'm not sure. I'm just thinking about like the rim protection with Gobert, and I don't like Donovan Mitchell is and Jamal Murray are both smaller guards, but I don't think the Clippers have anyone who can other than like they would have to put Kawhi on Donovan Mitchell, right? Because he's too
Yeah, and they
fast, I
never
think, for
do that.
Patrick Beverly,
Yeah, and they
right?
never do that for the whole game.
And I don't think Kawhi is going to take on that responsibility for the whole series. So I don't know. Both series would be really interesting, but neither of them are being the Clippers.
But I think both will go 7 because I think we as fans kind of underestimated the chemistry that comes with
Yeah,
playing repetitively.
We definitely did.
And it's not like people always can say this Mavs team was great and they lost in 6 games. Yeah, they missed Porzingis for a couple games. They missed Doncic for that one game.
Mm-hmm.
Like this was a banged up team, which the Nuggets and Jazz aren't banged up.
Yeah, and the
So
Porzingis ejection.
yeah, and the Porzingis ejection. So like I really see this going 7 games for both of them. But if Paul George plays amazing, it could be a sweep.
Mm-hmm.
So it
Yeah,
all comes down to Paul
exactly.
George.
And I think you could look at the Lakers in a similar way because while they did kind of prove that they should be considered a championship contender. I mean, Dame got hurt. Dame left the bubble before they got eliminated. Didn't play in the final
CJ
game.
played hurt.
Yeah, CJ played hurt. So my opinion of the Lakers is a little bit better than it was after like one or two games in that series. But I don't know. I'm not looking at them still on the level of like I would pick the Bucks if the Bucks make it out of the East over probably both of these
Yeah,
teams right now. I think.
I'm still going with Clippers, our initial
Yeah,
prediction
I don't want to keep flip
before.
flopping too much on my
Yeah,
predictions, but yeah,
I
The Bucks after that little
lost.
loss at the
Slip
scare
up.
at the beginning, just kind of said,
Yeah.
you know, enough is enough, and just did their business.
So the other series that's going on in the West, so in the first round is the OKC
Mm-hmm.
Thunder and the Houston Rockets. It's 3-2 to the Rockets right now. Uh, I think a game 7 could be forced today. I have faith in Chris Paul, and I have faith Shea won't play as bad as he did last game because he was not a good defender last game. And
No.
we used to say that like that's something you don't really see slip away. Defense, you see the offense come and
Mm-hmm.
go sometimes to young players, but if you're a
Yeah,
good
especially
defender,
with
you're a good
guards. Yeah,
defender.
yeah.
Yeah, like even Dart who got really roasted after that
Oh
game
my
because
god.
he was
Oh my god.
awful offensively. He still put a shift in on the defensive end.
Oh, he definitely did. I mean, you look at Harden's numbers, and you wouldn't say that someone played really good defense on him, but if you watch the game, you could see that he was at least making it tough
Yeah,
for Harden.
yeah,
Especially in not not game 5 but game 4. Houston only got to the line, the free throw line, 20 times or something. I think it was 20 times they got to the line. Harden got to the line 8 or 10 times. And if you're able to hold Harden to that little number of free throws, you're doing a really good job, I think.
yeah. And with the Rockets, they always do pick and rolls until Harden gets a matchup he likes.
Mm-hmm.
But Steven Adams has been doing a decent
He
job
has, yeah.
moving, shifting, and trying to not get that switch to happen. And then the last game, they just said, okay, forget Steven Adams. Let's just get the Shea switch. And that's embarrassing for Shea that they went hunting for him and like he was a big negative in my opinion for
Mm-hmm.
that team.
It it's kind of the two Canadians that we're hyping up. Shea's getting targeted on the defensive end, and then
And then
Dort
Dart,
just leaving wide open.
yeah,
He led their team in shots in like through the first 3 quarters
hmm
in the last game.
yeah. So people have always been saying the Dort and Andre Robertson comparison is kind of
Mm,
being like the most thrown out comparison in the NBA right now because they're just both so awful offensively, but
so
both
bad.
so important defensively. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
Robertson back in the day when
Yep.
he was still healthy. But for this team, Shea has to play better. He has to play at least average defense where he can't get targeted over
Mm-hmm.
big man Steven Adams. Like getting targeted over Steven Adams is kind of embarrassing for him. So
Mm-hmm.
he needs to step up defensively. He needs to step up offensively too. I think he needs to hit more of his open shots, which Chris Paul finds him for. Uh, Dort maybe just stop shooting because I don't know if
Yeah,
he can hit
just
those
pass,
open shots.
or at least don't
Yeah,
take the three. Just try to do something off the dribble, off the bounce.
or just like step in because
Yeah,
he was getting so wide open where he could
so
like
wide
just
open.
stay at the mid range and hit those shots instead.
Yeah,
So yeah, like I don't know what he has to do, but he has to get better. Danilo Gallinari's stock is falling this series.
sadly. Yeah,
He,
I thought he was going to be their best scorer at least in this series. Not their best player. I knew Chris Paul would be the best player, but yeah, I really
yeah,
thought he was going to be leading the team and scoring every game. And this is, yeah, you're right. His stock is falling.
I
This
think
is a guy who was included in a lot of trades and sign and trades
yeah,
and stuff for
I
this
really
offseason.
think his contract has dropped like almost 4 million annually because pre-bubble I could see him getting like a 19, 18 million
Yeah,
dollar deal.
me too.
Now I would expect him to get like a 14, 15 million dollar deal, especially with this like pandemic and contracts obviously going to be smaller.
Mm-hmm.
Like Gallinari might be a steal because he's been playing so awful. Like just in general, like he hasn't been good on. He's just been a role player.
Yeah, really.
Been average defensively. He's been average offensively. He's kind of just getting his shots fed to him from Chris Paul, and Chris Paul's doing a lot for the series, but he really can't get like his shots to fall. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's passing a lot. Schroeder has been playing amazing for
Yeah,
like
so good.
2 minutes, random 2 minute spurts. He scored 11
Yeah,
straight for
I
the
know it's
OKC
crazy.
Thunder. So he's been trying to get that 6 man award still.
Yeah,
But this series we had OKC winning in 6 without Westbrook and 7 with Westbrook. I can't see them beating Houston anymore.
no, neither can I. I think, like you said, they might be able to force a game 7 tonight. But I think that's as far as it goes, especially if because Westbrook was on a minutes restriction in
Mhm.
game 5, and then if he gets game 6 in, and then if he's feeling better by 7, he's able to play more heavy minutes. Yeah, I don't see it, especially with Shea playing the way he is defensively and Gallinari, like you said, and Dort if he isn't able to make just a couple of open shots. There's no way.
Yeah, and this might be the last time we see a Thunder team like this because
Mm-hmm.
they've been notoriously known for not wanting to go into attacks. So I don't know if they would bring back Gallinari. And if they could again get another pick to add to their pick
Mm-hmm.
collection with Chris Paul and get his $40 million off the book,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I might see that happening too.
You're right,
So
100%. Yeah,
this
I
could be
agree.
a rebuilding team next year
Yeah,
because we know how much the West is going to improve. So
yeah,
might as well rebuild and get a top pick in the draft to go along Shea.
yeah.
So this is tough for Chris Paul, and hopefully he ends up on a
But
contender
his
next
stock has
year.
not dropped. His stock is just rising with every game, I think.
Yeah, but I still can't see him going for more than like a young prospect and a first
No,
round
no, no.
pick
Yeah, not with that
because
contract.
40 million is 40 million
Yeah,
at the end of the
yeah,
day.
yeah.
And then the only second round series that's been played so far, the Toronto
Mm,
Raptors and the Boston Celtics made us look like fools because we both had the Raptors and I had the Raptors in 7 because no Gordon
yeah,
Hayward,
I had them
and
in
you had the
6.
Raptors in 6.
Yeah.
Oh wow, we looked awful after
What
that
happened there?
prediction.
I mean, I'm yeah, man, I don't know.
They just
Like
missed everything.
everything. It was
Yeah,
ridiculous. Like I've never seen Siakam has been playing terribly the whole bubble, but I've never seen a game that bad from him, especially in the first quarter.
yeah. He had less than 15 points again.
Yeah.
Raptors have lost twice in the bubble. Both
Mm-hmm.
losses were blowouts, and both blowouts came from the hands of the Celtics.
Yeah,
And
I mean, I want to say that's just a coincidence because, like,
yeah,
it was like over a week between the time they played last, but so it was like that for Boston too. And there was no Gordon Hayward for Boston, so that's and that's even more reason that the Raptors should have won that game. Kyle Lowry looked good; his ankle wasn't bothering him at all. I don't know,
best
man.
player, best player by far on the Raptors side.
Mm-hmm.
OG, OG looked pretty decent as well.
Yeah, he did.
And Serge Ibaka had energy, and that's about
Yeah,
it. That's all the good things you can see for the
that
Raptors.
that is it. Man, like I am. Like, why is Pascal playing so bad? Is that just because I heard him say that he didn't pick up a basketball for 3 months over quarantine? I don't know if that's true. Um, is that why he's been playing so bad? Because he literally was missing layups, wide open layups at the rim. Can't hit a 3-point shot to
Yeah.
save his life. Can't handle the ball. He's playing terrible defense. He got 3 fouls in the first quarter. Like he, we coming into the bubble, we were comparing him to Jason Tatum, and
Mhm.
now I don't even think you can compare him to like Jaylen Brown. Like
Jaylen Brown.
not even
Yeah.
close. It's not even
Yeah.
close to me.
Yeah. It's kind of sad how much his stock has dropped. Uh, I feel like people still believe in him, and a lot of people still believe in this Raptors team.
I mean,
Most
yeah,
analysts,
I still do, but
yeah, most analysts still have this series going far.
and I had the
Some people
series.
still have the Raptors winning still.
Yeah, like I had the Raptors winning. I didn't think Pascal was going to average 30 or even
Yeah.
20 really in this series. Like if he
Yeah.
can just make his open shots and take advantage of the size mismatches that they can create with the switching that the Celtics do, I was like, okay, he should have an efficient series and there should be some open shots if he attracts doubles and stuff like that. And he won't look like a superstar, but he'll look like a starting caliber player. And he like I think they should consider starting
No,
Hollis Jefferson
no chance.
or Chris Boucher. Like
No
I
chance.
don't know, man. Like he just what one good thing did he do in game one?
I think what him and the other bigs have to do is rebound. I think that's the first priority they have to fix. Because Tice played 18 minutes
Yeah, Tice
and
played
grabbed
gave them some
15
really good minutes.
rebounds,
Yeah.
which is crazy. And I think Pascal Siakam, you're 6'9". At the end of the day, I know you're not the best rebounder, and I know he doesn't
Mhm.
average the most rebounds.
Mhm.
But when do you have, like, you should be able to box out someone like Tice if you ever at the five or if you ever get, like, switched on to him. And, like, they have to do a better job. Like, Marcus Gasol stock has dropped
Oh
so
my god.
much in the
So
bubble
much. So much. And like we all thought his stock was going to rise cuz he was,
because he's
slim
skinny.
Marcus Gasol,
Yeah,
long hair Marcus Gasol looks 8 years younger. But no, he's just dropping and dropping. And
like,
like he's not even close to as valuable defensively in this series because there's no big for
because
him
there's
to
no,
just
yeah,
lock down. Um,
yeah.
yeah, so
It's
we
kind
saw
of
him getting played off the floor. Ibaka was giving them way better minutes than
way
Gasol was.
better. Yeah, it's kind of unlucky for Marcus Gasol because I don't think we're going to go up against a great center, even if we make all the way to the finals, unless
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Davis is there.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, there's just no Joel Embiid that he can match up with and body,
Mm-hmm.
or no Jokic that he can match up with and body. But that's kind of unlucky. But he just can't hit a shot to save his life. He's a good passer. He still
Really good
has that
passer.
going for him.
Yeah.
But it's not in the offensive repertoire where the
Yeah.
Raptors
I
uses
mean,
passing enough.
yeah.
And defensively, he's not a good switcher or not as good as Chris Boucher and Serge Ibaka.
Yeah.
So it looks bad, but it's not really that bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
you really see his value when there's a big on the other side
yeah,
that takes it low.
there's a
Um,
dominant big. It needs
yeah,
to
a
be a
dominant
dominant
big. And
big.
when there isn't, you can see him getting exposed on some switches, even though he's not as bad as I think some people make
Like
it
say
sound.
he is. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's still probably the worst center on the Raptors on switches.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but when he's not anchoring the defense, not anchoring, but when he's not locking down the paint and hitting a couple open shots on offense, the only thing he's really giving you is a couple of decent screens and some passing, and that's I don't know if that's
Yeah.
enough for him to even start a game in the series. Like I don't know. The main
Yeah.
thing for
See,
me though
like,
is like are the Raptors going to shoot that bad every game this series? Like Van Vliet couldn't hit a shot. Norm Powell couldn't hit a shot. The only one who was hitting shots was Ibaka. Like not even Kyle Lowry. Van Vliet's
yeah.
usually automatic if you leave him open, and it just was not happening. Like that has to get a little bit better. And there was a point in the fourth quarter where they brought it to 12, and if a couple of shots go in, maybe the game looks different. But I said the exact same thing about the last game that they played against the
Yeah.
Celtics.
See,
And I don't know, maybe this team is just too much for them. I don't know.
that's what, like, people don't give a lot of Raptors fans and a lot of analysts are just like, they're never going to shoot that bad again. They're never going to shoot that bad
Mm-hmm.
again. But the Celtics caused that twice. Like,
They did.
it's not like it's one time. Like
Yeah,
they're just missing open shots.
you're 100% right.
Like, okay, Siakam did miss a couple layups in the
So
first
many.
in the first quarter,
They
but
just got
after
off
that,
to a bad start. They looked really tired. Not tired, but
yeah,
they looked really sluggish.
like
Um,
after the first, it was I give it all Celtics defense because that switching
mhm,
and the amount of bodies and like different looks that Siakam and VanVleet got
mhm.
was just something they're not used to. Siakam's
Yeah,
not used to having
you're right.
a 6'4" Marcus Smart guard him one play, and then a
Yeah,
6'11"
yeah,
Daniel Tice guard him the next play.
yeah.
And same with what's his name? Same with Fred VanVleet. He's not used to
Mhm,
getting a physical defender in Marcus Smart guard in one play,
mhm,
and then an agile defender like Kemba going for steals
mhm.
the next play.
Yeah,
Like it's just so much different looks that's getting switched onto them over and over again that they're
mhm.
not adjusting. Because like if it was just for, let's say, Fred VanVleet, who's been playing amazing this bubble, if he had Marcus Smart on him the whole game, he would know
He
to
would have
like
figured something out, you know?
he would know to like maybe like try to get him into foul trouble or like
Yeah.
try to just maybe even just sit in the corner and just get Marcus Smart out of the
Mm.
like defensive plays. But like since it was so rotational, like he just couldn't know. He just kind of looked lost on the offensive end, in my
Mhm.
opinion.
He like I noticed that all of his shots were hitting front rim, which to me means he didn't
Yeah,
have his legs under him. Maybe he was sluggish, whatever, from having not played in that long, but he's a guy who always comes prepared to the game, so I don't know what that was. Like I'm just hoping that they don't shoot that bad again. If they shoot instead of 20% or 18% from three, if they shoot 30, 35%, maybe they can still pull this out in six. But and they the thing is they couldn't get stops either. The Celtics were just hitting their threes at a crazy rate in the first half, and it cooled down in the
yeah,
second half. But in that first half, they just could not get stops. Kemba and Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, not even Tatum, he didn't do much in the first
yeah,
half. That was, man, I don't know. Just every single player could score for the Celtics, and the Raptors aren't used to going up against teams like that, like you said.
yeah. And the only player that kind of didn't seem phased with the constant switching was Kyle Lowry.
Mm-hmm.
Like he just kind of went into his bag no matter if it was Jason Tatum on him or Kemba Walker on him. Like he was gonna look for a shot. He was gonna look to get into paint, like no matter what. And I think Fred VanVleet and Pascal Siakam have to have that mentality where it's like, hey, like they have to have the mentality where they think they're the best
Mm-hmm.
player on the court. Because
You're right. I think Fred usually does have that mentality.
yeah, and they just
But
have,
Siakam definitely not, and
yeah,
he'd
they
be
just
wrong
have,
to think that he was the best player on the court. So
yeah, they just have to be more aggressive, man. Like
yeah,
Siakam was aggressive, but he just couldn't get anything to
yeah.
happen.
To be fair, he did try to punish the
Mhm.
mismatches. Like whenever he had Marcus Smart on him, he did try to post him up in the second half. He hit a couple of nice post moves there, but he, especially in the first half, he was just missing wide open layups on mismatches and stuff like that. And did he even hit a three in that game?
I'm not sure, but
I don't think
it
he did.
was he only had 13 points, so
Yeah.
I don't know if he did.
So like that, you're obviously the guy he's not on a max contract right now, but that kicks in next year.
Yeah,
Um, if the guy who's your max player is averaging 13 points, you're not going to win. I don't care who you're playing.
yeah, it's tough. I honestly don't think this Raptors team's gonna do that well. The
I was
only
so high
reason
on them coming into the playoffs, though. Like, I don't know,
the only reason I gave him the seven
just
game edge
defensively,
was because Gordon Hayward was out. Because I think if you add Gordon Hayward on this bench, oof, that would be crazy.
just
That
another
team,
guy. Like, yeah, like there were so many whenever one of the three guys was off, whenever it was just Jaylen Brown and Kemba or Jaylen Brown and Tatum, you're like, hey, finally, we get a break from like
the
that
triple, yeah,
offense. But then if Gordon
yeah,
Hayward just comes out of nowhere and is getting his own shot too, that yeah, it's so much to deal with. But I mean,
yeah,
I was high on them defensively coming into the playoffs for sure. Like I thought they were maybe the best defensive team in the league, but the Celtics are probably maybe outside of the Clippers the worst team that can match up against the Raptors because Siakam can't stay in front of anyone. They had him on Marcus Smart, and Marcus Smart was cooking him. And
yeah. That can't happen in my opinion.
yeah,
Like he's still considered a good defender by so much of the league.
I know
Like
it's been 2 years now. People have been calling him this like shutdown, switchy, positionless defender, and I don't think he's been a good one-on-one defender ever. Really, maybe in like the first
last
couple of years in the
playoffs.
league when he had no offensive role and he was just playing energy defense. Maybe then, but for the last 2 years, it hasn't been like that.
I think it was because of the last finals and
Mm-hmm.
how good he did like switching on like Draymond and then like switching on to Clay and like just showing that spurts of
Mm-hmm.
defense that a lot of people still rate him so highly on defensive end. But for me, it's Fred VanVleet's defense that also looked really slacking.
Yeah, it did.
Because we said he has all NBA potential defensively, and that just made us look so bad in game
Yeah, I
one.
mean, I'm not gonna come off that after one game, but if we keep seeing that in this series,
We were just gonna look like fanboys at the
then
end of the
yeah,
day.
we're just gonna look like fanboys. But I think we've been
Yeah,
pretty hard on this team, to be fair to us.
yeah.
But yeah, man, like if Siakam doesn't hit a couple more shots in game two, and if Fred and Norm aren't hitting their shots, the series is over. Like they could lose the series in five. Like
I
really,
know, I know people are saying, "Oh, they lost home court," but but they're saying home court doesn't matter.
it doesn't
But
matter.
like, if they lose game two, I don't know if I'm that like faithful in this Raptors team to have the confidence to be like, it doesn't matter. We're just gonna bounce back because their leader is now Siakam. Like, I mean, like their best player.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Kyle Lowry's like the emotional leader.
Yeah.
It's not Kawhi Leonard anymore. So like, you're not gonna have that dominant presence that's just like, we're down 2-0. Okay, we're
Mm-hmm.
gonna go back and we're gonna play our hearts out for game three. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
don't have that monotone like player that you just believe in
Yeah.
anymore. Like
Yeah.
Siakam is pure energy, pure heart. Like if he goes
He's
down to
the
nothing, I
he's
don't
the
know.
opposite of Kawhi Leonard. Like he's just
Yeah.
you can see him get so frustrated. You can see him when he starts
Mhm.
feeling good. He just looks so happy out there, and then
Yeah.
when he's missing shots, he just gets so down. He's the total opposite of Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah,
You're right
like
about
if
that. I
Siak
think Kyle Lowry has become a little bit more like that recently.
yeah,
Um, but this is a tough series for him because if Marcus Smart's guarding him, although Marcus Smart was spending a lot of time on Van Vliet, it's just
yeah.
I don't I don't I don't feel that good about trying to get all our offense from our guards, but that's what's gonna have to happen.
In my opinion, if we don't win the next game, this could be a 6 or 5 game
I agree.
series
I
with the
agree.
Celtics easily
Mhm.
winning. Next game's the most important game because I
Mhm.
think this is the game that kind of like makes Siakam a
There has
star or
like
not.
yeah, there had
Like
like
this
this
has to be
cannot
the
just
game.
keep going on for the series because what if he averages 13 or 14 points in this series? Like what is the league going to be saying about him?
Well,
Like
everyone's
I
gonna be
think there
roasting
has to
Kendrick
be
Perkins,
yeah,
the
there has to be
biggest
a moment in
Siakam
this
fan.
series where he just says enough is enough. I'm an all-star, I'm an all-star starter and I'm going to play like it. Like to me that has to happen. Like
Yeah, and I think
I don't know.
it's also the state of the East because man, there's players out west like Jamal Murray who hasn't been to
Mhm.
All-Star game going crazy,
Mhm.
and East All-Star starter Pascal Siakam is averaging
Mhm.
13 points. It's
Yeah,
just so
you're
bad.
100% right.
Yeah.
And like I know he has a really really good work ethic and I know that
Mhm.
even though he already secured the contract, I know he's going to put in more work this offseason to make sure something like this doesn't happen again. But I don't care about that right now.
Yeah, but we always say that, but how much do we know of a player, right? Maybe he was just playing for the role or the contract. I hope I'm wrong, but
Yeah.
man, Siakam has been so bad in the bubble. Like I do not know what's up with him. And maybe a lot of people have been saying this. Maybe it's just the energy from the crowd, because it is
Yeah,
true. Like
maybe.
even if you're getting booed or even if you're getting cheered, there's still this like radiant energy in a NBA basketball game, which players can feed off of. Like it's always like moving, it's
Yeah,
always
that's fair.
loud. And in the bubble, it's a very different atmosphere where it's like kind of like practice, where it doesn't really feel like a real game. We
Mhm.
see NHL players opt out because they're saying it doesn't have the same atmosphere and they can't play up to par. And maybe Siakam's just one of those players that need this energy to like
Yeah.
motivate
I
himself and
mean,
go
but
through it.
to a point, like maybe, I don't think that's going to make you go from averaging 26 to averaging 13. But
13, yeah.
yeah, it, maybe he actually is used to like there was a rumor going around that it was easier to shoot threes because of the depth perception. Maybe he's just used to that court, like
Bad depth
NBA court.
perception. Yeah,
I don't know.
maybe.
That's just
Yeah, that is true. But like,
because to be fair, like he only learned how to shoot a jump shot in the NBA compared to like
I But like all the practice facilities he shoots at are like
That's true.
literally
That's true.
identical to
That's true.
this.
Okay. Yeah, I
So
don't know. I'm just spitballing here. I don't know what's going on with him.
yeah, I don't think this Raptors team is someone like the OKC team where honestly I can't see them being the same next year.
Really?
I cannot see, I really believe Fred VanVleet's gone after this year.
Well, I mean, yeah, we predicted that he was already securing a $20 million contract, which
I still think
is
he has.
even if he underperforms this series, he still will. And I know out of all the teams in the league, I know for a fact that the Raptors understand his value the most and will do whatever they can to keep him. But if it gets out of hand, like you're right, he won't be around next year.
Yeah, and I can't see both of the centers being retained for next year
Yeah, no way. One of
because
them will be, I think.
yeah, they're both too useful. Like they're both starters in my opinion.
Hmm.
So I see them leaving as well. And Norman
The other
Powell
one will go to
has
the
to start.
Warriors.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
I think Norman
Norman
Powell will
Powell
probably
has to
start.
start.
Yeah, so like this team is not going to be as good as it is
No, you're right. You're
this
right
year.
about that.
And then
But
if we say that, like you have to remember the championship team from last year, they lose their finals MVP, a valuable starter for this year. And then the year after this, they lose another starter
hmm
in Marcus Hall, and they lose their sixth man in Fred VanVleet.
hmm
Like this team is
Finals
gonna,
MVP vote 2019.
yeah, this
He got
team,
one vote.
yeah, this is it for this team.
I don't know. I
They might be like an 8 seed next year.
I they'll 100% make the playoffs. I think.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, you're right. Probably, I think for sure they're losing one of the centers. I would
mhm. I would
lean
say it's Marcus
towards
Hall.
keeping Ibaka,
Yeah,
and because I think Marcus Gasol,
he's
you're right. The
aging
Warriors could get him on like the
mid-level.
veteran or the mid level exception thing probably or
Yeah,
whatever. Yeah, but you're right. I really want to keep Van Vliet because I think he's our best player right now, other
yeah,
than Kyle Lowry. But he sometimes is our best player, just period. But you're right. He could go for 20 million easily. I think Knicks,
yeah.
Pistons, like you said, easily.
That's when I want to see this team perform to its full capacity.
Yeah, we got to enjoy it right now.
Because this is it. Like this might not. I really don't see this team being able to stay
And
together for next year.
I was yeah, I
And
was
this
so high on the
Celtics team,
future of this team because I was like, hey, we got a young star in Siakam. We have a young defensive
star.
3 and D in OG.
Yeah,
We got like so much center depth. We got like Fred Van Vliet, young point guard of the future. But now we could be looking at old Kyle Lowry with OG, who's already reached his potential,
yeah.
and
A 15
no
point
center
scorer.
depth, no center depth at all. Yeah, and a
Yeah.
13-point scorer who can't play defense like that. We're not attracting Giannis like that. That's not happening.
And people have to realize the East is going to improve massively next year with the Nets booming.
Yeah.
And Celtics have 3 first round picks and can acquire a very valuable player. So like this is it. Like the Raptors, their window is closing. They won last year.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. They've been competitive but not real contenders for how many years with DeMar DeRozan. And this is the last, in my opinion, this is their last years as finals and championship contenders.
Until
So
we get Giannis, or
yeah, until we
Giannis
get Giannis.
2021, even Kawhi 20 run it back 2021. That could happen.
Yeah, Paul George keeps playing like
Yeah, that
playoff
could
P.
happen. But if
But a
Spicy P
Siakam,
keeps playing
my
like playoff P, then
my mild
yeah,
P. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, mild P. Yeah,
Yeah, then he won't come here too. Yeah.
yeah, no way. Anyway, speaking of Giannis, so tonight we're getting actually in about 15 minutes we're getting game one. Pretty hype game one actually.
Yeah. So do you believe in Bam being able to cause
No,
enough change?
I think Bam is probably one of the best 2 or 3 defenders in the league to guard Giannis, but he's not gonna shut him down 1-on-1 for a 7 game series, maybe 1 or 2 games.
Yeah.
Um, and I think this Miami Heat team is probably the most confident team in the league. I think maybe it's misguided confidence, but
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler and Bam are two of the best defenders in the league, and they have some of the best shooters in the league. So it's a couple games. Miami could look really good, could look like the better team for 1 or 2 games in this series. But I think it's going to be 5 or 6 games to the Bucks. That's just my opinion.
I think if Eric Bledsoe plays, then it will be 5 or 6 games, but he is day to day with a hamstring issue. And I honestly think if Eric Bledsoe does not play, I honestly see the Heat winning in 7. Because
Really?
I just, Eric Bledsoe's defense is so underrated by
Yeah, it
NBA
is.
fans.
It
It's
is.
rated well by NBA
He
media
gets
and NBA analysts,
yeah,
but the fans underrate him so much.
he gets a lot of hate from the
Yeah,
fans for his offense in the playoffs, but his defense is overlooked a lot.
yeah. And I think without him, you have like a Dante DiVincenzo starting at the point guard spot or a George Hill.
Mm.
And that just means Giannis is having the ball all 48 minutes of the game. And we haven't seen that.
No. No, you're right.
So
Um,
I just can't see how
and
well
I
he'll
like I
do.
like I like George Hill off the bench, especially for that team, because if he's not coming off the bench, I don't trust any one player with the ball in their hands
Yeah,
at all. Even though they got some nice guys off the bench, but yeah, you're right. Yeah, Bledsoe could be, even if he misses like 3 games, this series could end up going 7. Like,
yeah, that's in my opinion, I think Coach Bud should honestly just rest Bledsoe for this game.
mm.
Because I think it'll still be a competitive game without Bledsoe.
Oh yeah, 100% it will.
It's still a toss up, but I need to make sure Bledsoe's 100%. That hamstring does not impact him later. Because him missing 1 game, I still favor the Bucks and Bucks in 6 or 7.
Mm-hmm.
But if he misses, like you said, 3 or 4 games, this could easily be a Heat series. Because the
Yeah.
Heat just have so much depth at guard with Duncan Robertson, Tyler Hero, Goran
Mm-hmm.
Dragic, Kendrick Nunn, that they're
Yeah.
just going to be consistently running, gunning, and it's going to be such a high pace game, or they're going to try to make it a high pace game
Mm-hmm.
that like
Yeah.
it's going to
It's
be tough
the Heat are
for
such a
him.
weird team because they have so many one-dimensional players, but they have so many really good one-dimensional offensive players who suck at
Yeah,
defense, and they have so many good defensive players who suck at offense. But they can
yeah,
throw so many looks at you, and that's the way you got to be the Bucks. Just throw different looks, go big, go small, just mix it up. And Eric Spoelstra is one of the best coaches in the league, so this is going to be a really interesting series from a coaching perspective too.
yeah. And for all the Raptors fans, last time we'll touch on the Raptors. For all the Raptors fans who want Giannis 2021, I think you should also be hoping the Miami Heat beat the Bucks here,
Mm-hmm.
because this would be the only way that he'll leave this team with not making the Eastern Conference Finals.
Mm-hmm.
Second round exit after probably an MVP and Defensive Player of the Year
Mm-hmm.
season. It'll be tough. But another player that we have to see step up, Chris Middleton. We haven't even heard his name in the bubble. He has been
Yeah, we
below.
haven't. We really haven't.
It's not that he's been below average. He just hasn't been up to Chris Middleton
Yeah. Yeah.
status, in my opinion. Because Chris Middleton he's penciled in to get 20 points every single game
Every game. He might get 2 points in the first half, but then he'll get
and an
18 in the third
18.
quarter. Like
Yeah.
that's just what he does. But yeah, you're
And
you're you're right. We need to see that. And
what?
like you said, I think is he's gonna see Jimmy Butler on him for
Yeah.
a
The
lot
whole
of time, and he's not used to having that level of defender on him, like you said last podcast.
yeah. But if Chris Middleton is able to score 20 points consistently throughout the series, it could even be a sweep because that's how
Mm-hmm.
like important Chris Middleton is for
Yeah.
this
Oh yeah.
team. And then like this is the team that kind of matches up perfectly, like duo versus duo. Because I don't think there's a better duo to match up against Giannis and Chris Middleton than
Yeah.
Jimmy
You're
and
right.
Bam.
You're right.
Maybe LeBron and AD if
LeBron
LeBron's
AD
playing
maybe.
a lot better. But
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be really fun to watch. I still have the Bucks in 6. I'm gonna give Bucks in 6. But if Eric Bledsoe doesn't play 100%, I could see Miami in 7.
Yeah, and imagine a Miami Boston Eastern Conference Finals. That is like so out of left field. Nobody predicted that. I
Yeah,
think.
imagine Celtics versus Lakers finals again.
Yeah. Yeah.
We haven't seen one since Kobe Bryant and
Mm-hmm.
Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett in 2010,
Yeah. Yeah.
which it'll be
And
crazy 10-year.
this is not going to happen. But I'm just thinking about a Miami Lakers final, and why do I like Miami so much better in that series? Why do I think
I
Miami
do
would
not
win that in
know.
like 6?
No chance Miami win that in 6.
Really?
I don't know. I I cannot see who's guarding LeBron James in that series.
Jimmy
And
Butler.
Andre Iguodala, Jimmy
J-
Butler is too small in my opinion to
I
guard
don't
him.
I don't know, man. I don't think so. But
I can't.
this could be, you said Iguodala, this could be Iguodala's last chance of his career to like be an impactful player on a championship, not champ, but like on a deep playoff team. So I don't. Who knows what kind of level of defense we're going to see from him?
Oh, Hall of Famer. If he beats LeBron James again, Hall of Famer.
Yeah,
He's
yeah,
locked.
yeah.
Like he will
Finals
be
MVP.
called. He will be called the LeBron James kryptonite. But they also
Yeah.
got Jay Crowder, someone who's underrated and can
See, they
have
just
good
have so many bodies. But like, we don't need to spend any more time like talking about this
yeah.
Miami Lakers final. That's not happening. That'd be really
We
cool if it
hope
happened, but I don't
we
think so.
hope Miami beats this Bucks team,
Yeah.
especially as Raptors fans, because I'm pretty confident the Raptors can handle the Miami Heat.
Mm-hmm.
But man, this
But what
Bucks
if?
team is
Yeah.
crazy. I just can't see them losing to anyone in the East, realistically.
No, me neither. Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
I mean,
I just
I think it's fair to say that if your starting point guard, who is generally considered your third best player, misses the whole series, that you could lose to a
yeah,
good team. Like, that's not a knock on the Bucks. That's just
that's just
fair.
like that's just basketball, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, so they should be able to coast to the finals and versus one of the LA teams where it'll be a
Mm-hmm.
really tough, interesting finals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think we covered everything, right?
Yeah, that's all our
Gave our
series
predictions. I
predictions.
mean, I guess the only thing we didn't do is, oh yeah, we talked about how good our predictions looked. Kind of.
Yeah.
The worst one is clearly the Jazz, but we knew that already.
Yeah.
We knew that starting like game one, because we said they were getting swept easily and they almost won that
Yeah.
game. But yeah, it looks like, or we could be wrong about the Raptors, but our West prediction is going to be right.
Yeah.
Probably 99%. And yeah, I don't know, but we're finally getting some really good series in the second round now, because we had some
Yeah,
really boring
especially in
ones
the
first round.
East.
Yeah,
Especially in the East.
yeah, especially in
Yeah.
the East. So I think that covers it. And we'll be back next week to talk about some more playoff basketball. And let's hope and pray that Spicy Pete is no longer Mild P.
Yeah. No more Mild P.
Yeah, let's just hope that he, like, I want to be talking about a 28-point game from Pascal. Like, that's not even that crazy. Like, that's
Yeah.
light work for him in the regular season. So I don't like that. That's just
Yeah,
sad to me.
it's cause Freddie and Pascal is missing that osmos. They're
Yeah,
missing
I
the
know, they just haven't been
osmos
able to get Osmos. Yeah.
that they're not be able to run as good as they used to.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, thanks everybody for listening, and make sure to listen again next week when we're going over some more playoff basketball and hopefully for us a couple of Raptors victories.